nights don't let me sleep. So this life's always with me. The ice inside my veins will never bleed. Every time you try to fix me, I know you'll never find that missing piece. When you cry until you miss me, I'll lie and tell you that I'll never leave. But always sacrifice your love for the night. I try to put up a fight, can't tell me that I don't understand. Sacrifice for love now. I try, I don't understand. Sacrifice my love, my time, love.
All right. Excuse me. All right, guys. What is going on, man? What is good? What is good? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Wall Street Wednesday. You guys ready to learn something today? Drop some ones in the chat. Chat's open for subscribers today. And I'll be introducing a new smart money concept to you, which I did not learn until yesterday. So it's not mine. It's not really something that I would probably say qualified to teach, honestly. But it was introduced to the community yesterday. And, well, you saw what I did in the Discord today, right? You do remember that, right? Right here. Remember this? NQ buy side above 24,841. That was right here. There is something missing. I'll show it to you. But we dropped right into it. And then as soon as we got that, bang. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, that was like all of 12 minutes, right? Not a long time. You know what I mean? But the point is, for NQ, okay, that was down here, dog. That was right here. Keeps like, what is up with the mouse, bro? There we go. That was down here. That was right down here about 200 points ago. 177 points ago. So that is what I will introduce to you today. You guys good with that? Do y'all want to learn a new concept? I mean, I know you dropped some ones, but if you have any words Put the words in the chat. Put the words into the chat as we get more people on here. So, what's good? Marshall, Capitalist, Sean, Felix, 2020, Flacco, MJ, Jorg Z, Rising, Smokey, Eberneth, Twins, Sean, Tordy, Patch, Martin. Yeah, I got you guys. I'm gonna teach it to you. Now, part of me, looking at it now, of course, I should have traded it. I did buy stock yesterday. I bought triple Qs and SPY yesterday. Which isn't terrible, but I would have done exponentially better on the future side. But hey, I can't catch them all. Okay, I'm not Ash, and this isn't Pokemon, you know? So before I show this to you, because what we need to do is understand like where we're at in the big picture on this chart. What did we talk about on Friday, last Friday's stream? Do you remember? It was on this time frame. I think I told you that we weren't going to do an I told you so. So I'm not going to do that. But we're going to review, you know? Who remembers Friday's stream and what we talked about specifically for NQ and for ES? Who else besides Patch knows? I'll put it to you this way, guys. If you cannot remember what we talked about 5 days ago, you are going to struggle as a trader. Okay? There's a reason I tell you these things. There's a reason that you're supposed to take notes to reference. Okay? This is in school, you typically do not have open book tests, right? It's more like, hey, remember what you should know for this test. You take the test and you forget about it and that's it. But it's not open book. In life is an open book. You've got the internet, you got ChatGPT, you got Google, you got all type of books you can read, right? Life is an open book test, basically. And trading is no different. You have an abundance of information. Now, going through that information and taking what's important and what's not important is a very important distinction, and that's hard to do, and it takes time. But you keep the good stuff. You keep the stuff that works, right? And then you reference that stuff. So, yes, Torty. We expected higher pricing and Patch, the market maker buy model. You would be correct. And welcome back, Charlie. So, more specifically, right, we had talked about how the lows down here, we'll go back to ES, okay? The lows down here were different. They were different. We saw a what on ES? We saw a lower low. Not so much a soup, but still a lower low. Whereas at 1 o'clock, NQ was higher. So immediately on Friday's stream, you don't have to go back and watch the whole stream. We really didn't do a lot here. And the timing was not superb this week. Yesterday's scalp was. I'll go over that too. But in a general sense, the timing was not that great. And that's one of the flaws that I have. Finding liquidity is easy. Timing sometimes can be a little bit difficult, especially like the swings. But yes, So I told you on Friday last week, I said I would not be shocked, I would not be surprised if that is our low, and then we treat this like a market maker buy model to go up here. Whereas instead of manipulation, we got accumulation, because ES had the manipulation. And that this would be the first leg of accumulation. We rallied on Monday, well, pretty much through Friday afternoon, and then Sunday and Monday had the rally. We fell off into the close on Monday. Yesterday was not the greatest day. I talked about that already in the market review last night. Sorry, I just need to adjust this music. Some songs are really loud and some are too quiet. And if it's just me, I can't focus. Okay. What was I saying? Yesterday. Yeah, we'll briefly talk about that if I forget. But overall, in a general sense, this was our original consolidation. And that would be the target for buy-side liquidity. Now, this is where I fall short as a trader, is the timing of where the second stage or the second leg is going to make its low. And that's the thing. Sometimes we stay in a premium, we'll reaccumulate and then trade higher. And then other times where it's like, okay, we had a reaction at the reaccumulation. That was part of why I scalped ES yesterday. And then other times, like today, for example, where we end up getting a decent reaction, but then we make lows that the market's going to then sweep and then run. And so it does come back into a discount here. And what do I mean by discount? From the target down to the low that has been set 50%. See that here? Fair value if it's bullish, right? Fair value or discount if we are bullish. See that? So that's what I mean. We had traded back into a discount. This morning was relatively close to a discount. And that is what I am targeting for today. 25,000, 27 and above. Probably like 25K, 50. Maybe 25K, 100. But not trying to pick the high. I'm not trying to do anything like that today. We had 9 a.m. news, which did all of nothing. A little bit of wakage, but overall nothing. The Thursday unemployment claims is now tentative because the government shut down. And now on Friday, the unemployment rate is also tentative. So we may have news, we may not have news. So Uncle Sam's on vacation. So we'll have to see. Was good, H. Was good, Juan and Roger. Okay. I'm going to teach you this concept now, but what you have to understand is the law of the roadmap, right? MMXM, market maker models. So without having a roadmap, right? Without understanding where the higher time frame is likely to go, because when you're on a 1 minute, when you're on a 5 minute time frame, the 1 hour is a higher time frame. Okay, it's exponentially higher compared to a 1 minute. Okay, a 1 hour time frame, 2 o'clock is its own session for indices. 2 to 3 o'clock is a 60-minute window. That's its own session. But that's one candle on a 1 hour time frame. You get me? So it's very, I don't know the word I'm looking for. A 1 hour candlestick has 60 1 minute candles. There's a lot that can happen in that. And it's the same thing on a 1 hour, right? This is going to take days, possibly weeks to pan out, right? Because we talked about that on Friday, and we came back into a discount on Wednesday of the following week, right? In which we also may, today on Wednesday, actually nail those highs, which is starting to look like. Okay? So now we'll take this off. What we will do is understand that from the low that's been set up to those highs, right? We should anticipate for the majority of this time that we are going to see buying opportunities. Are we going to see short opportunities? Of course. Are those shorts going to outdo longs? Look at the chart. Okay? Look at the chart. Probably not. Going short in a bear market is good. Going short in a bull market, not as good. Okay? So with that in mind, we're going to keep the green on here just as a simple higher time frame bullish. Okay? With that, now we can go down into, let's say, it's already there. We can go down into the smaller time frames. You know what I'm going to do? Man, I didn't get a chance to delete this. Okay, fine. I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it there. That's fine. But what we have to do is all agree that right in here, okay, it's in the Discord at 9:06. That N-cube buy side above, I meant to say at, because it's technically at that, but there is liquidity above it, but that's actually not what I meant to say, but it's fine. N-cube buy side above 24,841 and a half, which is simply this set of highs up here. Okay. Now the timing was not to the very minute. 9:06 is this right here, but it is fairly close. It's fairly close. So number one, higher time frame is bullish. Number two, bring this to the front too. That green box kind of got in front of everything, which I did not want, but that's okay. If we anticipate higher pricing, what are we going to do first? Go lower first. Equities opens here at 8:30. We initially drop that first minute. 8:31 sends us higher. Okay. Now I was watching this morning. I was watching on a 5-minute as well. I was swapping between the 5 and a 1. And so what I started to notice was when we made this lower low here, right? These two up candles, okay, may become a mitigation. Okay? Because I don't know. You know, the higher time frame is bullish, but it may want to go lower one more time for regular trading hours lows. Right? So I don't know. So if I mark this out as a potential mitigation, right? And I promise this is important, and we're going to get to the new stuff in just a second, but you have to understand why. Okay? If you try to get just the juice without understanding the entire thing, if you're trying to get just a piece of the puzzle without understanding the entire puzzle, you're going to miss things. That's why a lot of people, they see imbalances, but they don't know which ones to trade. They can see the mitigation, but they don't know which one to trade. You get me? And that's what I'm trying to give you. I want you to have both. I want you to get the piece, but I want you to see how that piece connects to everything else. Okay? So looking at this, right? like a potential mitigation? Immediately no. Immediately no, it's not. Okay, it trades right through that. So with that understanding, what does that give you? Or what does that tell me? Well, it means that that low has been swept, right? We traded back into the range, and on a 1 minute, that's not a mitigation. So what takes place? We trade higher. And then this is where things got a little bit tricky, because at 9, we did have news. The ISM manufacturing PMI, which did all of this right here. Not a lot. Okay. What does it trade into, though? Well, if it's not a bearish mitigation, what's it going to be? An inversion. Every concept has an inversion. You know this. You know this. Now, is that worth taking? It could be. Reddit news? I don't think so. But it's good to know that that's there. Because of this. And now you see why I sent it when I sent it. Okay? Now, again, before I get into it, this was not something I created. ICT made a video, I think, yesterday. Or made it a couple days ago, but released it yesterday or something. So I watched it, I saw it, or it was a market review, I think, and he included this concept in there. It's called a suspension block, is what he says it is. Okay? Am I an expert on this? No. I literally found that out yesterday. Okay? And I want to give you a little bit of backstory too. If you look at Dow on a 1 minute time frame, it looks horrendous, right? There's so many gaps. Some of them get respected, some of them don't. And that really never made sense to me. Like, I look at that. Well, first of all, I hardly look at Dow anymore because it's trash. But I look at that and I go, okay, what do I do with this? And I don't know. Okay? I look at that and I'm like, this is garbage. I don't know what to do with this. ES doesn't really do the same in terms of gaps. Okay? Matter of fact, we can come back to this too, because I'll briefly show you what I'm talking about. ES, okay, is a little bit less volatile. It doesn't move as many points. Okay? Nasdaq moves a lot in terms of points. Okay? We're like at an 80 point range here based on the trading view calculation, right? But ES is only like 15. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot more volatility in terms of points for NQ than there is for ES. So ES does stuff like this, where it'll gap, but then it'll trade up again to go lower. It'll open with a gap and then, you know, give it wicks before going lower. So we don't really see a lot of gaps that are like left open in a sense. Okay? Versus something like NQ, where we have this. Okay? So what this is, and again, this, I don't want you guys to think that I'm making stuff up or that I invented this, because I didn't. Based on what I learned yesterday, okay, what he said it was is it's like an imbalance basically, but you have a volume imbalance or like a gap, right, on both ends of it. Are you guys seeing that correctly? Are you hearing that correctly? Damn VPN bullshit. What I'm talking about is that right there. You see that? Because we have 902 close and then 903 open. We see a gap right there. We have this up candle here, right? But then it also has a gap from its 903 close to the open of 904. Okay. So again, it's kind of like, because initially the way most of us would look at something like this is that the imbalance is that, right? Like we would look at that like an imbalance and then go, okay, well, it trades through that. So, all right, that's it. We just move on and that's it. But what I think you're supposed to do is include both of these here. And that is where you see the blue box on my screen. Okay. So let me draw this for you. So in other words, it would be that, right? I'm including the high end of this gap, which is the open of 904, and the low end with this gap, which is the close of 902. You see that right there? So this right here, again, I could be wrong. I doubt ICT is going to come into my chat anyway and say something. But that is what I think it is. All right. So it's basically like an imbalance, but it's different. It's where you have what he calls a volume imbalance. I just call it a gap on both ends of it. Okay. Now this doesn't form all the time, like every minute of every day. Okay. You're going to have where the open is at the close, and you're going to have like, regular imbalances and stuff like that. But then when you actually look at your charts a little bit more carefully, you'll find sometimes that that's there. So this to me is just one more piece to the puzzle of understanding price. And it's not about understanding everything. We're not looking to trade every single minute of every single day, right? I'm not trying to do that. Maybe you're different. What I am trying to do is look at the market and say, okay, where are we going? Where are we coming from? Where are we at right now? We might not take a trade right now. 99% of the time, we shouldn't be trading. We should be, like I talked about this extensively yesterday, patience, stillness, discipline. We need to wait for higher probability. So again, and this isn't really so much to brag, because I didn't trade this, by the way, just for full disclosure. In hindsight, I probably should have. But I didn't know where the risk was going to be, mainly because of the 9 o'clock news. So it's like, okay, well, does the stop go below the suspension block? Does it go down to this low? I mean, if I do trade this and it goes down to this low, but my very first target is here, that's not even a 1-to-1. Like, is that something I want to take? So when I'm looking at this and I'm that's going through my head, is this worth trading? Can I frame, low risk, high reward? I've never traded a suspension block before, so it's like, let me just pass on it. Right? But of course, I still think it's going to go higher. And that's why I said something in the Discord. Now, with ES equal lows, that might have been confusing. You might have thought that I think the market is going to go lower for the equal lows, which is why I included the chart afterward, how ES made equal lows. We'll go take a look at that. Right? Yes, ES does make equal lows, but I've shown you this before. Look at the bodies. The bodies are higher. The bodies are higher. NQ, the wicks, and the bodies are lower. So that is manipulation. That is a divergence. That's what sets the low, right? Two imbalances here. We trade through those, right? Inverted mitigation at 9 o'clock. We trade below the open of the hour. Then we start our expansion. So this is that retracement during during an expansion. Do you guys see that? Like, dude, I shit you not, man. You guys should be absolutely doing a backflip right now. Because like this, I'm telling you guys, knowing this type of information, dog, like, look at that. You want to zoom out, bro? Zoom out. Look at where we're at. Look at that. Look at that. That right there, right? Boom. And we're headed, for you already know, we're headed, I think we're going to get there today, the buy side at 25K 50 or 30, whatever that is, whatever rounded up. Like, this is disgusting, bro. Do you realize that? Do you realize the amount of money that is available to you from clicking buttons, dog? And yeah, Joker, I agree. What he calls a protected swing, I just call it manipulation. I try to simplify things as much as I can for you, and to call it certain things too. Right? I think, you know, and not to be disrespectful, but I just think fair value gap, 3 words when you could say imbalance. You know, why say 3 words when you can just say 1? I don't know. It's just, that's just my thought process. But multiple lows that got swept, leaving behind liquidity up here, right? And that is what set the low. Manipulation set the low. Inverted mitigation. Suspension. Boom. Massive rally. Yeah, I know. Juan, I was thinking of Kevin too. I just, you know, I don't want to yap all day, every day. But that is your introduction to the suspension block, whatever. I'll just say suspension to keep it short. But again, full disclosure, I didn't create that. I didn't invent it. It ain't mine. I'm not going to act like it is, because it's not. I literally learned this yesterday. Not even 24 hours ago. Okay? Mason said it's a sus candle. Yo, that is cooked. That, we might have to, that's something else, man. But anyway, do you, like, I'm at a loss for words, chat. Do you guys not like this stuff? I mean, seriously, this stuff goes in order. It goes in order every time. Every time. Manipulation sets the low. Low risk short, or not low risk short. Low risk buy or next candle entry is almost right after that. Concepts that are supposed to be or might be bearish that aren't are likely going to be bullish. And then we see continuations, right? Expansion higher, slow retracement lower. We could argue this is kind of slow as well, but look what happens when it gets close to that liquidity. It's a magnet. As soon as it gets too close, yoink, straight up. And then guess what? Is that a reversal? Hell no. We got buy side up here. We are in the second leg of accumulation on the 1 hour time frame. So the down moves should be relatively short-lived, and the up moves should do this. You see that? You see how all of this stuff, again, that's the best analogy, like, honestly, that's possible. It's a puzzle, right? It's an entire puzzle, and all of these time frames are just pieces. All of these concepts are just pieces. These time windows, they are pieces, a very crucial piece. And when you put these pieces together, context, liquidity, time, Wednesday equities, you know, price, second leg of accumulation. This stuff is so good, man. I'm telling you. Notice I said this stuff, not my stuff. I said this stuff is just so... How could you not be addicted? Is this not crack for you? This is crack for me. I've never had crack, but I've had hydrocodone before. when I had LASIK surgery like 10 years ago. Hydrocodone, dog. Sheesh. That stuff knocked me out, man. I slept so good. You know what I mean? I woke up, once I ran out. And I woke up and I was like, yo, I get it now. I was like, I get exactly why people get addicted to drugs. I get it. I seen it. I was like, because if I could do this every day, shit, I probably would. You know what I mean? But anyways, I mean, what do you guys think? Drop some twos in the chat if you guys like, not just this stuff, but drop a 2 if you like the idea of the suspension block. It's a new concept. It's something that, like all the other concepts, have been there, just not really noticed, I mean, I've always noticed that there's a gap or another gap, but I've never actually thought of putting the two together and then saying like, oh, that's actually a thing. You know what I mean? I think the credibility... Did I delete the thing already? I feel like the credibility would have been a lot better if I did trade it, but I haven't studied these for a long time. I've studied these all of, I don't know, like an hour. You know what I mean? But that's just so cool. And the picture that I showed you guys earlier, I'll bring that back actually. That suspension block here, you can see it here. And that's the crazy thing. I promise you, there's 55 of you on here, and I promise you, everybody in the Discord, if you looked at this, that's exactly what you looked at, what I drew out. Those down candles being hit and those down candles being hit here. So that's probably where your eyes went to, like, oh, that down candle was a buy, or these 2 down candles, that was a buy, or those 3 down candles, that was a buy. Yes. But now you can see the the suspension. See, I'm not used to saying it. You got the suspension block right there. You just didn't see it. You didn't know about it. I didn't know about it this whole time either. We're practically learning this concept together, essentially. You see it, but it's right there. So we do dig into this series of down candles, right? But only to the extent of the suspension. Pretty cool. You don't see it on the micro, right? Look at NQ. That's something I had questions on too. I don't know everything, chat. I know a lot of stuff. A lot. More than I ever thought I could know. But I still don't know everything. And so, yeah, there is some differences. Like, you'll see the micros create a gap, or sometimes the micros won't create that same gap. I don't know. I would probably trust E-mini instead, personally. But I don't know, man. This stuff, I'm telling you, this is crack, man. This is absolutely crack. How can you not? How can you not like liquidity and then aligning with that? Help me understand. Liquidity's up here. We wait for a move lower. Now, mind you, yeah, if anybody got chopped up yesterday, it was a barcode a little bit. Wasn't the cleanest, wasn't the greatest day. Not until the final hour, which we can still go over. We ran liquidity one more time, sweeping Tuesday's low. In the overall discount, notice we did not stay in a discount for very long. See that? We did not stay there very long. We dipped in there. We dipped our toes. Whoop. Let me get this low real quick. Oh yeah, I meant to show you that too. How far can price go below low? The next available imbalance. Ooh, what's that right there? Boom. Schmacked. Look at that. Man, it's almost like this supply and demand stuff really works well, doesn't it? Right? Right? We gotta love supply and demand, baby. Love it. Don't you? Look at that. Bear flag right there. Bear flag, right? After a bear market is BS. That's bullish. Boom. That's what sets our low. In London. That's nasty work. That's nasty work, dude. This is absolutely disgusting. Look at that. Whew. Now we're in a premium. Now we're in a deep premium. We're above, actually, this should be 25%, but I'm not going to argue. Still the upper half of the upper half, right? So we're in a deep premium right now. So if you're trying to short, I don't recommend that. Despite all these little lows in here, lows can be left open. If it is in fact a hurry to get up here, it will leave those open and trade up there. It will steamroll anybody trying to short. Go look at volume. If you're the kind that looks at volume and level 2 and all that shit, go look at that stuff. And you show me like what's here or what's up here or whatever. And you tell me if price does not absolutely steamroll everybody and go higher. Regardless of whatever volume you see down here or in here or whatever. That is a good transition into yesterday. What is that? 67, 56, and 3/4. That is the highs for ES. And we have gotten to 56.5. So we are one tick shy on the ES side. So, what prompted yesterday? This is kind of difficult to put into words. I'll put it to you this way. If you think of, y'all ever, when you were a kid, did you guys ever play on a seesaw? Is that what you guys called it? Let me see if I can draw this out. I know you guys love my drawings, right? You hate the bar charts, but you love the drawings, right? It looked kind of like this. You know what I mean? And you had, you know, one kid on this side, and you had another kid on this side, right? Remember? And so when this person would jump and then, you know, go this way, the person on this side would go up, right? Y'all remember that? I don't think I ever did that, but I've seen them. Yeah, see, Patch, I'm with you on that. I've never seen it, or like I've seen them like in cartoons and stuff. I don't think I've seen one in real life before. Definitely, I don't think I've ever been on one. But you guys get it, though. It's like, oh, it's a seesaw, right? So that's probably the best analogy I can think of for when it comes to the cleanliness of price. Meaning we go from consolidation to expansion, right? We go from expansion to retracement, or we'll go from consolidation to expansion, retracement, expansion, retracement, expansion, reversal, accumulation, expansion, retracement, expansion. I wouldn't really call this a reversal. It's really more so manipulation, but expansion lower met with expansion higher is a reversal. And then the expansion continuation for the original consolidation. Okay. The markets do not move in a straight line. They do not stay in the same phase forever. Okay. Now this is very elementary, and it's not the most genius thing ever, but I think it's worth knowing. Check this out. We have a consolidation, yes? We can all agree that it consolidated for, we'll say, 22. Oh, that's a long time actually. 22 hours, right? But notice that's still not forever. That's not 96 hours. That's not 700 hours, right? It doesn't permanently stay there, okay? It only stays there for a little while. How to time that? Don't ask me, I don't know. Expansion. Does expansion last forever? No. It does expand, but then it's going to see a retracement. Does the retracement last forever? No, because it goes from retracement back into expansion. Retracement back into expansion. Reversal. And then everything else I just said, right? So what you have to understand, and this is why, again, I did not trade during lunch yesterday, and then I just waited for the final hour, which gave us that spooling. And those are easy to trade. They're arguably one of the more uncomfortable things to get into because you're buying after an extended move. But I'm trying to give you the backstory to why I trust that. Okay? Because, again, the understanding that if we were to mark up every phase of price, okay, and it doesn't even matter what colors we use, but if we just do consolidation, expansion, right? If we mark up retracements, okay, again, color doesn't, just like skin, okay, color just doesn't matter, right? We're all just humans at the end of the day, right? You like that? Can I bring politics into our stuff here? You see what I'm saying? There a few candles, but price never stays in the same phase forever. Drop some threes if you guys are seeing visually on the chart what I'm telling you. For a while, not forever. For a while, but not forever. Now, consolidation sometimes might feel like forever. Shit. On a 1 minute time frame, this barcode absolutely feels like a long time. Of course. It consolidated all through London and all through the AM session, bro. That's 10 hours of barcode. Look at that. You're right. 10 hours on a 1 minute time frame is all day. All day. It feels like eternity. It's so uncomfortable. It drains all of your mental capital. You no longer want to trade. You want to walk away, right? But tell me that the market doesn't give you the best setups right after you walk away. Tell me it doesn't. Drop some fours, chat, if it doesn't do that, right? If you don't walk away and then you see price do what you wanted it to do, right, Joker? You think I'm talking to you like it's just you and me. I'm talking to 50 something of you. The markets, they consolidate and you go, oh, this is bullshit. I'm done for the day. I'm going to walk away. And then as soon as you walk away, you come back to the chart and bam, it's 40 points higher. And you go, what happened? Was there news? What's going on? No, you got your emotional capital drained, gave up, decided to come back another day, and you missed when price was now ready to see the expansion phase. You sat through the consolidation phase and you got to the point where you decided to quit. That's what markets are designed to do. That's what they're designed to do. It happens all the time, right? I'm giving you tools here, Juan, to understand. So next time you're in it, you can see it, right? Let's pause. Sidebar. This is exactly why most of us are able to give advice to other people when we are not in a situation. Because when you're in a situation, you are emotional and your thinking is clouded, right? Because of all the negative thinking, all the catastrophic thinking, thinking about, you know, what they said, what this other person said, analyzing what they said or what they did, what they didn't do, what it means, what it doesn't mean, all this stuff. And your mind's going in circles, you're overthinking, and you can't think straight. and you go to people for advice, and most of the time they probably give you good advice, right? Well, in trading, it's very similar. When you're in the trenches, you're in a 1 minute time frame, you're in a 5 minute time frame, and you're looking at this cone, if you will, right? Like, oh God, what is that? Right? Lower lows and higher highs. Now, I already went through some of this stuff yesterday, like what the opportunity in lunch was to me, right? Now, what was different is once we left that and once we got our expansion phase of price, I talked about spooling yesterday, right? Some of you still don't know what spooling is. Do I understand it entirely? No. But I understand enough. I understand enough to know that there's buy side there and regular trading hours is buy side there. So with what I told you earlier in the day, that the final hour is its own session, now you will understand. Oh, okay. Yeah, price was in a, we'll just call it a consolidation, honestly. We'll just call it a consolidation phase, okay? When it saw expansion, right? This is what we want to trade. We want to be in a trade during expansion, right? We like buying some stuff like this and then riding it higher. You know, that's awesome. Do I always catch the very low or the low right after that? No. I might be making nuggets. You know what I mean? Organic ketchup. You know what I mean? So I might be doing something. I might miss it. However, I know that what? 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock is its own session. I also know, and you know this too, that 2:50 to 3 o'clock is the MOC, the market on close. I did not make that up. I didn't make any of this stuff up. Okay? So, would the market, okay, in a session that I anticipate expansion, right? Would that session offer reversals? Yes or no, chat? If I think a session will offer expansion higher, do I want to take reversal setups to go lower? Do I want to take bearish setups during a expansion higher phase? Yes or no? Oh, and it's already 12:50. We're at our 1 o'clock macro, by the way. I just noticed the time. Excuse me, I got some good old Mountain Valley over here. So would I look for stuff like a mitigation? Oh, that's a high that took regular trading hours, and then we saw a higher high and we traded through that. Oh, is that going to be a mitigation? Nope. That's not a mitigation. Does become an inversion though. Oh, that's pretty cool. Right. And that's the expansion right before the buy side. Look at that. That's not what I traded though. What I traded was the imbalance right here. I wanted to buy on the way low, or on the way lower rather, English. Okay, look at that right there. That's your imbalance right before the run on liquidity, right before terminus. Look at that. How hard is that? The PM session was bullish. Final hour, you might think that that's late. It's not. That's your ego. Okay? As someone who has an ego, yes, I bought a Corvette. Yes, part of that is because I have an ego. That's true. I won't deny that. I didn't have to buy that. I could have bought a Honda Civic. You know what I mean? I could have bought a used car, actually. I could have bought a used Honda Civic with as many miles as my ex is on it. I could have, but I didn't do that. Okay? I have an ego. So guess what? I understand ego too. I understand that. You might look at that and go, oh man, we've already rallied 20, 25 points. I'm not long in that. Then don't. But I will. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Buying on the way down. In an expansion. We should trade higher. The stop can go to either the low end of the imbalance, which I personally thought was a little bit too small of a stop loss. I didn't want to do that. And I haven't released the recording, but if I did, you'll actually see I didn't have one. I had a mental stop here. I was like, okay, if we take that low, I'll hop out. But what you'll see is I put the order in, I'm in, then we go higher. And as we go higher, I put the stop in at a break even. And then I partial at the buy side. And then I hold the other contracts for 67.40. You see what I'm saying? Oh, this is supposed to be green, by the way. Sorry about that. Buying on the way down during an expansion for buy side liquidity. That's not supply and demand. That's spooling. That's the algorithm taking price higher. And it will, just like I said on my Instagram story, it will steam fucking roll. Okay? Steamroll past anything and anybody. Y'all know what a steamroller is? You ever seen a steamroller? Let me show you what a fucking steamroller is, okay? They got some weird ass images on here, I'll tell you that. We'll go with Reddit. Okay, look at this. You know what a steamroller is? This right there. That's what price will do. It will steamroll past anything. All these volume orders and, you know, pending orders and all that shit. It will fuck your face off. Okay? Excuse my language. But that's what it's going to do. It doesn't matter who's trying to short. It's going to take price. Okay? It's going to take price and it's going to jam it up there. That's why I can trade that. That's why I do trade that. Because I trust that. That is such a high probability trade. It ain't going to be like the greatest RR. You know, I'm never going to argue that it's better to trade this than it is down here. I'm not going to say that. Obviously, the bigger moves are down here. And there's your fucking run. Daddy-o, 67.56. Look at that little spike right there. Who's your fucking daddy, chat? Who's your dad? Oh, we didn't get it on NQ. Sorry about that. All right, ES. Who's your daddy, baby? Who's your daddy? I told you I had an ego, chat. I told you. I told you. Teacher life price, baby. Come on. Look at that. Nice little pop right there. I told you, don't fucking short. Did I not say that? And what did I say? We're at our 1 o'clock macro too. What time did we get here? 1 o'clock. Right on time. Algorithmic. Supply and demand has fuck all to do with this. That's purely algorithmic. Algorithmic. Now NQ. She's kind of lagging behind. You discussed me. I don't know if we're going to hit that time window. We might not. But even if it doesn't, ES did. And I don't know what every macro is going to do. Okay? I don't trade every macro of the day. I don't even watch every macro of the day. But I do know that a lot of times, baby, it's running to liquidity on time. On time. Like a bus schedule or like an Uber. You call for an Uber or you call for a Lyft and they tell you, here's like a 2 to 3 minute time window of when that person's coming to pick you up. This is like a little 5 minute window of when you're supposed to get to where you're supposed to get to. Right on time. I didn't even check YM. Yo, fuck YM, dude. Like, bro, Dow Jones is like the Judas of indices. You know what I mean? It's just not the one, dog. Dow is just not the one. Look at this. We're getting a massive rally on ES, massive rally on NQ. We can't even make a new high of day on Dow, dude. I should ban you for even bringing up YM. You should be banned from my channel forever for this nonsensical nonsense. But anyways, that's pretty cool to me. ES was first. NQ, I think, is lagging behind a little bit. To be fair, it also does hit 25K, right? 25,000 even. There may or may not be some profit taking there, I would assume. I don't know. But I feel like this was a pretty good stream so far. Was it not? Sorry, I got a little animated towards the end. I'm trying to work on my cursing, but, you know, I'm human, and sometimes that ego just comes out like venom. You know what I mean? Just takes over, dog. Can't help it. But when you make money and you're right, yeah, it's hard to not be like, oh, I told you so. Right? Did we not talk about that, dude? Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Chat. Boom. Market maker buy model. Now, again, I think the multiple run back into discount, I think it was bullshit. But nonetheless, pretty good day. Pretty good day. You think I'm funny, Cap? Is that what I am to you? Is that what I am to you all? Just a comedian? Same thing down here. Big bear flag after a bull. Or, excuse me, big bear flag after a bear run in a bullish market. Yeah, fade that. Done. Again, guys, this is crack. You know what I mean? How can you not love this stuff? Yeah, I still don't. Evie, I don't. It baffles me that people focus so much on Dow Jones when all of the movement is elsewhere. You're trying to go for crumbs when the bread is over here. There's a buffet over here. There's a buffet on ES, and there's like dog shit crumbs on YM. Stale, crusty, moldy crumbs. When there's like fresh sourdough, you know what I mean? Over on NQ and ES. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get that. Help me understand. Why do people want pennies when there's dollars elsewhere? Makes no sense. It's not to be disrespectful. Seriously, it's not. But look at it. Dow is dookie. 0.07%. When ES is up 0.30%, NQ up 0.40%. The strength is in tech today. Why would you not want to be in the strongest index going higher? Why would you pick the dookie Dow? I don't understand. But anyways, that's your introduction into the, I'll go over this one more time. That is your introduction into the suspension block, which is here. Now, you didn't know that before when I told you in the Discord, okay? But now you know what it is. Now you have something to study this weekend. Well, the rest of this weekend. Let me ask you guys this in closing. Did y'all go to the grocery store yet? Did you guys go anywhere yet? Did y'all park in the back? Did y'all do that challenge yet, chat? Yes or no? I just want to get a consensus here. If you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. But if you do want to let me know, put it in the chat. Did you guys do that challenge yet? Did you park in the back? Or did you be a little bitch? What is it? Pat said I walked? Okay. Well, you failed. I'm just kidding. Arguably, that might be somewhat better, but that's it today. So the ES alert's already done. So the last alert for today is NQ 25,027 and 1/4, which I also believe is going to be all-time highs too. So, oh, good job, Iberneth. Iberneth gets a gold star today. Everyone else, banished indefinitely. Y'all be good, be blessed. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow, or no, sorry, Friday, for another live stream. Thursday, I don't have a stream. Lee Bright should be in the Discord tomorrow around this time. Mute your microphone before going in there. All right. So that's real easy to do, because what we don't want to have is people making noise while Lee Bright is trying to present. Okay. So be good, be blessed, and I'll see you Friday.
Are we dreaming? Are we dreaming? And now you won't let me fall to sleep. You're taking hold. Can't seem to feel, though my heart's in pieces at my feet. I've lost my senses. I can't see how to find my way back home. I stop.